Hey there guys, welcome back. In this video we'll learn about if statement. This will include if, elif and else. We have seen these keywords in the keyword chart. See, if, elif and else. So sometimes decision making is required when we want to execute a code only if a certain condition is satisfied. In Python we use if, elif and else for decision making. The syntax for if statement in Python is if condition colon, and after indentation we write statements to be executed after the condition is true. And when our if block is completed, we remove indentation and the code will be resumed without indentation. Okay, and remember, in condition we write something which in the end returns a boolean value. It has to be either true or false. The inner statements will be executed only if the condition is true. Okay, if the condition is false, then the statements will not be executed. And also in Python, non-zero values are treated as true and none and zero are treated as false. Okay, so if we have any non-zero value, it can be any integer value, float value or string value, then it will be treated as true. And none and zero will be treated as false. Okay, let's understand this with the help of diagram. Suppose this is our normal code execution, and at this point we have some condition, and after that we have two choices based on the result. If this condition is true, then we go inside if block and the statements inside if will be executed, and after the if code execution, normal code flow will resume. And if the condition is false, then these statements will be skipped and the normal code execution will begin. Remember, if the if condition is false, the statements inside if statement will not be executed. Okay, so let's see in code. Back to edit plus, making new folder 12_if_else, and inside this folder I'll create a new file a.py. Here I have print function call, print statement 1. Then if condition, if 12 is less than 21, then print inside if block. Notice you have to give indentation after writing if. This is important. Colon with indentation represents a code block. It can be any code block like a function, a class, any loop, if else statements, etc. And here my if block ends, so there will be no indentation. Okay, after that my code will resume, and here I have a function call calling print function to print statement 2. So here how the code will execute. See, firstly we have print function call statement 1, so it will print statement 1. Then we have if statement and our condition is 12 less than 21. So is 12 less than 21? Yes, 12 is less than 21. So this will return true and the if block will be executed. Inside if we have print function call, so it will print whatever is written. Here it will print inside if block. Okay, and now the indentation is over, so that's it in if block, and now normal code will be executed. Here we have print statement 2, so it will be printed. So our output will be statement 1 inside if block statement 2. Okay, let's see running a.py. See, statement 1 inside if block statement 2. Okay, now let's change this less than sign to greater than sign. So let's see how the code is executed now. Same as before, our code starts from line 1, which is calling print function, and then if condition, if 12 is greater than 21. So 12 is not greater than 21, the condition is false. So if block is not executed, it will be skipped, and then the remaining code will be executed. Here we have print function call. So the output will be statement 1 and statement 2. Let's see, running a.py. See, we are getting the desired output. Now let's see new example. b.py. Here, suppose we have to tell whether a number is positive or not. If it is positive, then we have to print the number is positive. So we have a number, num is equal to, let's say, 2. And what is the condition for a number to be positive? It has to be greater than 0. Okay. So we'll check if 2 is greater than 0, then it is positive. So if num greater than 0, then print num is positive. Right now our num is 2, which is greater than 0. So our if part will run and the statements inside if will be executed. We have only one statement inside if that will be executed. So let's see, running b.py. See, 2 is positive. Okay. Let's check with some other number. Num is equal to 77. Running b.py. See, 77 is positive. Okay. You see here, every time we want to check a number for its positivity, we have to change the code, which is not very reliable. So what can we do here? It would be much better if we decide the number at runtime. So we can take the number input at runtime from the console. Console is the screen which we saw at runtime. Okay. And how we can achieve it? If you already know C language, then you must have heard of scanf function. Here we need a function which can do the same task. So in Python, we have input function which does this job. Let's see what is input function. Input function reads a line from console and return it. So when we call input function, the console will wait for us to enter some value. The code will not proceed until we enter some value. Okay. And whatever we enter, it is converted into string. If we enter any int, float, complex, list or anything, it will be converted into string only. Okay. Also, we can pass a message inside input function that we want to show to our user, so that user know what he or she has to do. And that message has to be a string value. Okay. So let's see. Making new example, c.py. Here we'll call input function at the very first place, input, and we will pass a message, enter any number. This will return the value entered on console, so we'll hold it in a variable num. And as we saw, this method converts the input to string, so we'll convert it back to int. How? By using type conversion function for int class. Okay, so int, and the remaining code will be the same. So let's see the output. Running c.py. Okay, so C, enter any number, and this will wait until we enter some value. So let's enter a number 90 and press enter. 90 is positive. Okay. Let's run it again. This time number is 24, let's say. Enter. Okay, 24 is positive. Great. Now let's check for one more number, -1. See, here nothing is printed. Why? Because we have condition only for positive numbers, not for negative numbers. So what can we do here? Let's see. If we have two cases, like for the first case we have condition, and for the second case we want that if the first case is not true, then the second case runs. Then in this situation we use if else, The if-else statement evaluates test expression and will execute the body of if only when the test condition is true. If the condition is false, the body of else is executed, and indentation is used to separate the blocks. Let's see with the help of diagram. See here, suppose this is our normal code execution, and at this point we have some condition, and after that we have two choices based on the result. If this condition is true, then we will go to inside if block and the statements inside if will be executed. And after the if code execution, normal code flow will resume. And if the condition is false, then we will go inside else block and the statements inside else block will be executed. And then the normal code execution will begin. So here for both the cases we have some codes that has to be executed. If condition is true, these statements will be executed, and if the condition is false, these statements will be executed. After both the cases, the code flow will resume. Okay. So for our case, we have to handle the negative numbers also. So let's see, making new example, d.py num is equal to int, input, enter any number. If num is greater than 0, then print num is positive, and else means num is not greater than 0. Then we will go to else block, and here we'll print num is negative. Okay. So let's see, running d.py. Okay, so we have to enter a number, let's say minus 56. Minus 56 is negative. Okay. Now let's try again. This time 34. 34 is positive. Great. Okay. Now let's try one more time. This time I just want 0. Enter. 0 is negative. Oh, 0 is not negative. Okay, so this is a bug. For 0, it should not print 0 is negative. After all, 0 is neither positive nor negative. So what to do next? Let's fix this bug in the next video. Until then, try it yourself, and if you find the solution, then tell me in the comment section. So see you in the next video. Bye bye.